Thanks for tuning into the channel. So today we're going to be talking about exotic cars and will it Turo. And I'm going to go on the Turo website and you're going to see how I find out if a car is good for Turo or not. And before I get into it, I'm going to ask for everyone to do me a huge favor. Smash the like button, leave some comments down below. Let me know if you have an exotic car that you're renting out and how it's doing, or if you know a friend or anything you want to let me know, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you're a Turo host or you're thinking about becoming a Turo host, everything that I use for Turo, including my lockbox and no smoking stickers and other things, I have in the description below, even the tire shine I use. Now, I just added the tire shine. The reason I got my car detailed the other day, and actually someone that lives in the community that I live in asked me about it. So I figured, why am I not letting everyone that watches my channel about it? It could be a good help to you. It was a good help for him. One of the reasons I started using Street Legal, as you can see here, they're not sponsoring me. I just started using it because, as you see here, the non-splattering is why I started using them, because I like putting tire shine on the car, but it would, as I drove off, I'd get all on the side of the car. And then what's the point of having a car clean with tire shine if it's going to be all on the side? So I looked for different options, came across this one, and really avoided that from happening, getting on the side of the car, and it stayed on the tire. And I even use it on my personal car, I use it on my Toro car. So if you're getting your Toro fleet or your Toro car cleaned up for a booking, you want it to stay nice and clean. If you're having that issue, check this out. I have it in the description box below, so it'll take you right to the website if you want to buy it out and test it out. Now, let's go ahead and get into the channel. Why should you do research before you get any type of car? And we're going to get into it, but we're going to be talking mainly about exotics. I'm going to share my screen as we go onto the Toro website. All right. Here we go. I got it up. So we're on the website. So wherever you're from, what I like to do is see how a car's doing in the area that I live in. So wherever you're from, you would type in here. I'm going to go ahead and type in Orlando. Now, when I'm checking out a car, the dates, you can see here is showing June. We're currently in May. We're towards the last week of May. I wouldn't use any of these dates because a lot of these cars are going to be booked, especially for the holiday. So what I like to do is go further out. So I'm going to go all the way in July. Now, there are some people that book it, their trips in advance. So there are going to be some cars that already have bookings for July, but that's going to be a lot less. So the opportunity here is I'm going to see more, and that's what I want to do when I'm doing research. So let's see, what dates do I select? The 23rd, so last week of July. Let's see how many pop up. It's loading. And none popped up because I forgot. We got to go filter and make Lamborghini. And now you might be thinking, why is he selecting Lamborghini? When it comes to exotic cars, my favorite are the Lamborghinis. I don't own one. Online, though, when I've done research, I heard that the Lamborghini Huracan has great resale value. I've seen that by going on Auto Trader. Any car that you're going to rent out, you want it to have a strong resale value, no matter if it's an exotic or economical car. I heard they're like a bullet. They tend to not give a lot of problems. This is very important. No matter, again, what car you're getting, you want it to be a car that doesn't have a reputation of giving a lot of issues. And exotics, if you looked into McLarens, they tend to have a lot of electrical problems. That's what they say. I don't own one, but that's what I see online. If I hear that about a car, at least for me, I'm going to stay away from it because I don't want my car to be in the shop. I want it to be on the road making me money. On Huracans, I hear they have great resale value. They don't break down. Those are all good things about a car. Now, how do I know that they hold their value? I go on Auto Trader. If you go on Auto Trader, I've been doing this for years. I'm a car guy. I check all cars, not just exotics. I have an idea what cars hold their values and do not. Now, if you're not such a car person or you don't do that much research, these are tools that you can use. Auto Trader is one of them. You can go on car dealership websites. I also do that. And you can see how they're doing from new to use. And that's why I compare. See, how much was this car new? And then how much is it lost? And this is very important when you're renting out a car. Because if they depreciate a lot, then you might not make any money when you go sell it. There's a lot of ads, and that's why I say everyone to be careful on exotic cars, especially on Lambos, because they are very popular. They say, oh, this, you can make $20,000, $30,000 just renting out your car. Please be careful. Even if you have the means to buy an exotic car, don't go rushing to buy one without doing any research because you heard on social media or someone on YouTube saying you can make $20,000, $30,000. I'm not saying that that's impossible. I'm not saying that no one's doing that. There's different ways to make money renting out a car. I think some individuals have private car rental companies that specialize in exotic, and they're located in specific areas that are going to do better, like Miami, Las Vegas. And then there's areas that are not going to do as great. You need to do your research. Also, if you don't own a rental car company and you're thinking you're going to use Turo, or you're thinking maybe you're going to give it to a private car rental company to manage your car, you have to understand that you're not going to get all the money. A lot of private rentals, they take 50% of whatever the car brings in. That's one. Okay. If you put it on Turo, it's going to be based on whatever protection you get. It's going to be based on how much you get. Now, the most common is the 75% plan. That's what I have, meaning I get 75% of whatever the car brings in when it gets booked, right? And then Toro takes even a cut on additional things I could do, like deliveries and thing. I get 90% of that, but those are add-ons. On the car, though, I'm only getting 75%. And it's very important. If you do have an exotic car and your exotic car, let's say, is worth over $200,000, then you got to be careful, because on Toro, it says they insure up to $200,000. Now, I don't have an exotic car, so I've never called Toro and asked them this. If you have a car that's worth over $200,000 that you want to put on their platform, I would reach out to Toro and get some more information if there's something in place for individuals with cars over $200,000 for the insurance. Because you don't want to list a car that's worth 400 grand and then it gets a total accident. They're like, well, we only cover up to 200. That'd be horrible. So that's why it's very important. Do your research, do the homework, pick up the phone. And this is what this video is about, is to help you know that it's very important to do the research. I'm going to do some basic research and how I would determine if a car is good for Toro or not. But you're going to have to do some of your own research. But hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully this gives you some ideas how to do some research. And again, you can apply this for exotics or even economical. It's not just, you don't have to use this just for exotics. You can use this for any car. But today we're going to be talking about exotics. Here we go. So I went with the Huracan in Orlando. And let's see how many popped up. It popped up 5. One thing I am going to throw out there that I've noticed on exotics when I go on Toro and check them out, here's a cool purple one. You can see, or I believe it's purple, could be like a bluish. That one's all fixed up. I can tell by the hood. I can tell by the color it's a wrap. I can see a spoiler in the back. I've noticed that if you have one that's all tricked out, they tend to book more than a stock one. Now, if you own one and you're going to take it to shop and get it all fixed up, that's going to cost you a lot of money. Sometimes you can find them used that someone already fixed up and doesn't really cost you extra. That could be a good one to buy to rent out, because it's going to catch people's eyes more than a stock one. And it's going to help you bring more money. If you're not paying more for all the customization work that they did to it, then it could be good for a rental. Because a lot of times when you fix up these cars, they don't bring in more money when you sell them. But it could bring you more money when you're renting them, because it catches people's eyes more. This one's done really well with 76 trips. This one could be a new host. I don't see any trips yet. Then we got one with 44 trips. And as you see, here we go. One has 46 trips. So some of you might be saying, well, they're renting pretty well because we're seeing a lot of trips. Very important, okay? Very important to check out their calendars, because we don't know how long this car's been on Toro. It might have been on Toro since 2017, and they've only gotten 43 trips out of the life they've owned that car. And if you do the math, it might not be worth it, or it may. What I like to do is check the calendar. So in July, let's see if they have any bookings. So in July, it looks like they have some bookings for the 4th, 5th. I see some lines. Now, this can mean a few things. This can mean the car's not going to be available because the owner wants to use it. It can mean it's going to be in the shop. It can mean a lot of things. So I like to look at their trips. They have a lot of trips. So that shows me that they're booking their cars. I see the recent comments. I see comments in May 2000. So that to me shows that they're active, right? They're active. And let's check July. I mean, sorry, we were on July. Let's check June. June, they got some bookings, right? And they even, let's see, May. So May doesn't look like it's been a great month on the Lambo, at least on this page. And you want to check, what are they doing that they're getting maybe so many bookings? Well, they offer a lot of things. They offer a lot of free deliveries to a lot of different airports. Now, I don't know if that makes sense. It must make sense to them. You want to do your math. Does it make sense to offer so many free deliveries to different airports? Maybe on a high-end car like this that's booking at a high rate, it may be very well worth it. It may make them money. It may not. But based on what I see, and some of you may agree or disagree, I don't think on Turo, from what I've seen in the past and even today, that they're making money. I definitely don't think they're making this $20,000, $30,000 on Turo. And the reason why these cars cost $200,000, some of them even cost more. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to say to me, well, I can go on Auto Trader. I found one for 150. If you find them under 200,000 miles, they tend to be an older one, like a 2015. Nothing wrong with that, but it'll be an older one. It'll be a lot higher on mileage. They tend to have 50,000 miles. You don't want an exotic car with 50,000 miles, 2015, more likely give you problems. It's going to be expensive to fix. So you have to take all that into consideration. A lot of people just focus on price. Well, I can get a 2015 for 150,000. Okay, but how many miles does it have? Does it have a clean Carfax? That's very important because on Turo, they want the car to have a clean Carfax. You can't have a car on there that doesn't have a clean Carfax. So these are things that you want to know before purchasing a car, and you want to follow the terms of service. Get familiar with the rules on Turo before buying a car. If you already are a Turo host, get familiar with the rules. Make sure you're not breaking them because you don't want to get banned and have a fleet of cars and things like that. And then what do you do with them? You're probably going to take a loss. I'm telling you this so you're careful. Trying to help everyone out. In my opinion, though, you may disagree. You may have one. You may have a friend that has one. You're making a killing. Now, on these cars, where I think you make the money is with private rental car companies in places like Miami and Las Vegas. Now, I haven't done it myself. That's just my opinion. There's one called MPH, Exotic Car Rental, that you can Google and check out. They tend to have a large following on social media. They seem to do really well. The Huracans being the most popular car that I see when it comes to renting, they tend to do really well. With them, it's probably going to generate a lot of money, maybe $15,000, $20,000, but you're only going to get a 50-50, right? So that means if that car brought in $20,000 a month, you're going to get 10. But I want everyone to be careful because I don't think it's that common. And I think if you're going to make that type of money, it's more likely with the private car rentals. And the good thing about those companies is that it's going to be 100% passive because you're dropping the car off to them and they're going to do everything for you. Now, from what I know about MPH, Exotic Car Rental Miami, is that they're not going to do it like on a 2015 Huracan. They're going to do it on like a 22 Evo with like 2,000 miles. They're going to do it on new ones with low mileage. Now, if you are thinking about, hey, I'm going to get a Huracan, maybe I'll drop it off at MPH, please do me a favor, contact them, ask them what they need to make sure that they're still taking in cars and what year and mileage you're looking for. That way that you don't buy a car without doing research. I always tell everyone that because if you go and buy a $200,000 car or any price, now you're on the hook for that car. Even if you pay the cash, right? You're out of the cash or you're going to make the payments. Now, some of you may be saying, well, I'm going to buy an exotic car and I have the money. I'm going to pay you cash. I don't really care to make a profit. Well, now that's different. If you have an exotic car that's mainly sitting at your house, you don't use it much, and you want it to bring in some money, then Turo could be a great for you because it will get rented and you'll get some money for the car. You might not necessarily make a profit, but you're not really looking to do that. You just want to get some money for a car that you have sitting at your house. That's fine. Some people do that. I'm sure some people even give it to the private car rental companies for those reasons. They don't use it. They have it. They like to make some money. They're not looking to make a profit. Now, if you're looking to make a profit, really do your homework. I do think some people make a profit. I think on social media, a lot of people, just because they want to sell a course, they want to get a following, they say things that are not 100% true, but that's going to get a lot of people's attention. I don't think it's common to get $20,000 or $30,000 every month from an exotic car. Be careful. Do your research. I'm not saying it's impossible. If you owned a private car rental company, let's say Miami, you establish a clientele, you may make that kind of money on certain cars. But if for most people, since that's not going to be what they're going to do and they're not going to be in that situation, if you go and get an exotic car, you could find yourself in trouble if you're just going to depend on Turo. That's my opinion based on the research. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, some of these cars have a lot of trips. These cars have been on there for a long time. If you check the calendar and you're only seeing 1 or 2 or 3 days, that's not going to be enough to make $20,000, $30,000 or $10,000. That may just cover half the car payment if it's financed. If you go on the Lamborghini website, exotic cars, you can finance them for 12 years, 144 months. Is that the smart thing to do? It depends. It could be a really bad idea if it doesn't hold its value. Now, Huracans hold their value really well, but in my opinion, it doesn't have it. I mean, the Huracan, you're going to get the best ROI on them, but I don't see the huge profit. That's my opinion. I love to see some comments down below. If you disagree with me, that's okay. Educate me. I may be wrong. But how I do research for any car, exotics, economical trucks, muscle cars, I use the Turo website. If you're new and you're thinking about doing Turo, that's what I recommend. Go on Turo, go on it for a few months, get familiar with different people's pages. That way you can see how their cars books, check the comments, check their trips, check the calendar. If you see recent comments, you see their trips going up, that's going to be a good indicator that they're active on the platform. Count those lines then on the calendar to get an idea what that car can bring in. Now, these are not foolproof. This is just what I used to get an idea before buying a car. It's worked well for me. It's not foolproof because those lines on the calendar are not 100% accurate, because it can mean that the car is at the mechanic shop, a body shop, things like that. But they're a good indicator, because if you see that their trips are going up and you're seeing recent comments, that means the car, it's going out on trips. You can tell by the comments. I use that. It's worked well for me. But I like to tell everyone it's not foolproof, because it could be like they were active, things were going well, car, boom, accident in a mechanic shop, body shop. Now the line just means it's not available to book, and it's not necessarily mean it's bookings. But a lot of times it does mean it's bookings. And that's another thing. If you're buying a car and it's finance, if it is at the mechanic shop or at the body shop, can you afford those payments while the car's in the shop? If you can't, you may want to stay away from the car, build the savings so you can back up your business in case the car's out of commission. You don't run a risk of making a late payment or defaulting on the loan. You don't want to ruin your credit. You don't want a car getting repoed. A lot of people just jump into these things and they want to grow fast because they want quick money. And it's not that easy. Always recommend slow down, do your research, get some money saved up if you don't have a savings. So make sure you got a savings so you can back up your business, and make sure you're getting into cars that you can pay for with your income that you're currently making, maybe from your 9 to 5 or another side hustle or your business, whatever it may be. If you can't make the payments, my tip is don't buy the car yet. I'm not saying not to do Turo. Get a savings. Get a strong savings. Once you have that savings that can back up when the car's out, in a mechanic shop and things like that, it's still a risk involved, but at least you're minimizing that risk because you have a savings for your business. Hopefully these tips helped you. Hopefully now you have an idea, if you're thinking about getting an exotic car, some of the things I do that you can do that will help you to make your decision. Let me know if you found them helpful. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the links for anything that you may need for Turo that I already used that could be a benefit to you. Thanks for watching again.